Hello and welcome to Car for your man Shed NP. Hope you are all very well. So, what are we going to talk about today? Sorry for the pause. So today we are going to talk about science. Okay, now the thing with science is we all take it that what scientists say and do we know to be good, and generally it is. So things like COVID vaccines clearly work, they know what they're talking about. But there are certain things that scientists say and we just take for granted, you know, same as the doctors. And generally, as I say, they're done for good, and we totally 100% agree and believe it, because, well, why wouldn't we? So one of my favourites is the fact that we are hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour, or whatever speed it is, and then the universe, the galaxy itself, is travelling at a certain speed, and all this, that. And it's like, the thing is with it is not that I don't disbelieve it. I do believe that we live on a globe. I do believe that we travel around the sun the same as all the other planets, and I do believe that other stars are suns of their solar systems. But what gets me is how do they know how far away another planet is or another star system? Because it's just a little speck of light in the sky. So how can you realistically figure out how far away that is, and then figure out that some are different types to others? So we've got our sun, which isn't a massive sun. So you've got your red dwarfs, and then you've got your massive grey super suns and all of that, which, although can be bigger, doesn't mean they got as much mass. How can they work out the weight of the planet? And also, there's another one for you. So imagine we have a meteor come and hit Earth, okay, and it is mounted into the into nothingness. It becomes dust and that, but the mass of it has to go somewhere. It can't just become nothing, surely. How does that work? Do you understand what I mean? It's like it has to go to somewhere. It can't just have a mass of whatever and then become nothing. But I suppose it's the same when a tree is burnt. So you have a big old tree which could weigh a few tons, and you burn it to ash and it becomes nothing, you know. But where does that go? Does that mean now that the world is a little bit lighter, or does it all just become gas and chemicals in the solar system which are slowly polluting us? So there's many different things. You know, there's the how does a bird navigate? Well, they claim that they got a certain amount of metal in them which allows them to follow some sort of metallic navigational way, in the same way a compass would work. Okay, don't disbelieve that, but the thing is, there's been no scientific facts to prove that, because you chop open a bird and most birds should be the same, especially if they're flying birds. I wouldn't imagine a turkey or a chicken would necessarily be the best two to go for, because they don't tend to fly a lot. Well, certainly not domestic ones. Doesn't mean they can't fly, but they're not the best flyers. Whereas something like a pigeon, which we know are good at finding their way home, there must be something in them. You know, you think of a stinky, dirty little pigeon, not the most intelligent bird in the world, but its navigational sense is fantastic. So how can that pigeon find its way home every time? It's you know, they've got something going for them, these pigeons, haven't they? Because most creatures don't do that, can't do that. So what does a pigeon have that others don't, which allows it to find its way home? Who knows? Anyway, a little bit there on science. So there's plenty of questions out there which may not ever be answered, and it doesn't matter. You know, all we have to do is believe. But I do love the fact that we take it as a given. So there's currently a TV program on, and Professor Brian Cox is an absolute legend and is fantastic. But on his last series, The Planets, it was about Earth and the 7 other planets and Pluto, which technically is a dwarf planet, because it doesn't get rid of anything else in its path. Therefore, it only 2 of the 3 things to find planet. Oh, well, it does. Don't know why I do these videos quite so early. I'm yawning away like a trooper. Hopefully I'm going to get to Winchester, because I've only got a little bit of petrol, but I should have enough to get me there, so that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Sainsbury's today. This is travelling up to Derby for no goddamn reason on Wednesday. What a waste of a day that was. We went to a Christmas meeting to look at the food, but I know how to do a roast dinner. I know how to do a Christmas roast. I know all of that dishes. I really didn't need to go and be shown them by 2 fat, useless executive chefs who have less talent than me. Their ideas on what Christmas should look like, and I wasn't impressed. And it took me 7.5 hours of driving to go and say, yeah, that looks shit. Everything I did on that day I could have done at home. Could have done it over Zoom in an hour, 20 minutes for me, because I'm not interested in the cocktails and I'm not interested in any of the other shit that was done. Why would I be? I don't think anybody who actually went there thought that it was a well-used day. The company just like to waste money on pointless activities like this. It's the same as the cook-off for Wolverhampton. I had to have a hotel and petrol spent, so we're probably looking at the best part of 160 quid. And I could have took myself everything there, because it was an absolute waste of time. Really, most of the stuff that went on the new menu didn't go on mine, so what was the bloody point of going? There wasn't a point. Again, they just like to waste money, and these 2 exec chefs who are both absolute dick shits, really wasting their time and absolutely pointless. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with science, so let's get more science in, I guess, because why are we doing a Beyond Science and then stopping? So I do also find it incredible that we have these massive telescopes which can see other worlds and other galaxies, maybe not galaxies, but other solar systems, and they can identify planets and they can work out what these planets are made of by just looking at it. It is incredible how they know the gas giants are gas giants and the ice giants. Well, I guess the temperature for the ice giants is there because the sun only heats so much. Also, gravity. The gravity is an incredible thing. It's very I suppose gravity has both a high pull and a low pull depending on how you see it, because if the sun's gravity is strong enough to keep Pluto, which is 40 times further away from the sun than Earth, and let's be fair, we're not being dragged down as a species to the floor, although if you drop us in the middle of the sea, eventually we are going to sink to the bottom of the planet, or as close to it as the seabed allows. It's something that is there, and they say, oh, it's not the strongest thing, but it is in a way, because it's keeping these planets going around one sun. Then it's pretty incredible. It's the same way we keep our moon in our surroundings. You know, it's what, 500,000 miles away from our planet, and it stays there and it doesn't move. The same with somewhere like Jupiter, which has something like 72, 79 moons, or something like that. I think they worked out that Saturn may have a couple more, but they're still not sure. But you know, it's a lot of moons. But then I suppose it's a big ass planet. You look at some of these moons, say take Titan for example, it's bigger than Mercury, but because of where its whereabouts in space, it possibly used to be, or may have been, a planet, but became a moon when its mother planet decided, oh, we'll take you and you can become blah blah. So it was basically a planet that wasn't able to free itself from other stuff, and things stuck when a bigger planet decided, yeah, I'll have you. So Titan became a moon. It could have possibly moved inwards a little bit and had its own spot, possibly near the asteroid belt, and had its own moon, which it could have made of one of those small asteroids, possibly, potentially, who knows. It may have been one of those asteroids that knocked it and put it in the orbit of a gas giant, who knows. I'm making shit up now, but I do feel that quite often when you hear stuff, and I'm not saying that Professor Brian Cox is by any means lying, because I do find him fascinating, but it does make you think, how do you know this stuff? You know, we've never been to Titan as a species. We've had a flyby by some Voyager 1 and 2 possibly, but we've never actually physically been there and stood on that planet. And also, they say a planet is like this. Well, the thing is, look at planet Earth. Okay, I know it's a geologically active planet and it does have life, which probably makes it different to 99.99% of all planets out there, and I accept that. But go stand by the beach. Let's go to Bude. That's where I like to go. Go stand in Bude, look out, then come to Southampton. I don't know, let's say, I don't know, Megsonomi. Let's go from Megsonomi, just outside my house, look out. And then we'll go somewhere in Africa. Let's go to the middle of the Sahara Desert. So let's say Tunisia, the Sahara, then go to the Congo, then go to Brazil, go to the middle of the Amazon rainforest. They're so vast and so different, all parts of our planet. So entirely different that you can almost be on an alien planet in a certain different part to our planet, apart from the gases and stuff, which are the same. So science, yeah, you gotta love it, but you do think, I'm sure you're making some of this shit up, because how would you possibly know that? And I'm not saying that these people who look out with these telescopes and they know their stuff and they know the physics, but this is only from a human point of view. You know, we've worked out that everything in the universe is made up of the same stuff. So life form pretty much should evolve in a similar way to planet Earth. So that means that they need liquid water that is not too salty. They will need oxygen and carbon monoxide, and a way of controlling that. So, you know, most of the planet is made up with hydrogen gas in our main, because that's the gas of the universe, and helium as well. You know, as a kid and also as an adult, I saw helium. What's that gas that made your voice go squeaky? You know, the one which you blow your balloons with. Well, clearly not. And then they work out that other places like Saturn, it will rain diamonds because of the pressure. But these diamonds then turn back to some sort of gas. Could you imagine getting into that sweet spot, having, say, a TARDIS, and going along and being able to catch some diamonds and then bring them back? You know, the most amazing world, wouldn't you? I wonder how safe they would be. You know, what could be on Jupiter that could, apart from the pressure and gases and everything, but would that diamond be dangerous to touch? Who knows? Anyway, there you go. It's a little bit on science today, for no particular reason, just that I'm watching Universe and it's great. And Professor Brian Cox is an absolute legend. I do have to go back and watch it again though, because I did fall asleep watching the one yesterday and then I woke up and the next one was on. So I do need to go back and watch it. I'm not saying I'm not falling asleep as well, because, you know, getting old now, so if you put the telly on, especially at night, it's nice and cozy and you fall asleep. And that's what we do. Anyway, this has been your man Shadow Bay. Hope you are all well and enjoying whatever you're doing. See you, pals.